there, Taurus. How are you guys doing? I really hope that this reading finds you well. Welcome back to your end of February reading. This reading is going to be from the 25th until March 4. Back with me again, Anisa from the Inner Stereo. First energy, you have the Five of Wands. Why is it not over-focusing? But anyway, for those of you who are new to my channel, this reading is going to be a relationship spread, meaning that you could always apply this with anyone in your life. It could be with your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, exes, crushes, fiance, family members, anyone. I'm basically just going to be picking up your relationship energy in general, all right? And don't forget to also check your sun, moon, or Venus sign, because I tend to realize that with my readings, I resonate much more with my Venus sign rather than my sun sign, all right? But if it doesn't resonate, then it doesn't resonate. There's so many amazing, talented tarot readers out there for you to just click and watch. By the way, I'm Indonesian, so if you hear me muttering non-English words, it means that I am actually talking in Indonesia. Two more cards present, then I'll talk. Why is everybody still carrying this fixed air signs energy around? You know what I mean? We just passed it with, now we're moving to Pisces season, but I feel like the leftover from the Aquarius season is still kind of like attached to us. Because I just did Gemini reading before this, and they were very airy, and so were you. And so are you, even in the now. So your overall energy for the now, you have the Five of Wands. You have the Princess of Chalices or Princess of Cups, and then you also have the Death card, which is in reverse. So I think you are going on through a lot of inner conflict recently, like an inner battle, also a show of strength. I think here there's somebody here that you're trying so hard to, you know, prove a point to, that, you know what, I think now it's kind of like the right time for me to put on a fight. I really want something now, and I'm not giving up, and I'm not even backing down. I'm not going to be lowering my weapons until you give me what I want, because you felt like you deserve it. But you have like a little bit of an inner conflict in here. Why? Because although that ego is pretty strong, that want to have your point across is pretty strong, and so is your emotions towards them. I mean, look at this. You have the Death card in reverse, meaning that a shedding of the old skin hasn't happened yet. A transformation hasn't happened as of yet. We don't see a little bit of a progressions here. And also, you cannot help to feel still very much in love with this person, with the Princess of Chalices. Princess of Chalices is the affections or the compassions that you felt towards somebody that resembles the feeling that you had with your high school crush. You know what I mean? When everything that you do, you're so awed by it. When, you know, every little move, every non-verbal cues, everything that they say, you really pay really great attention to details about it. But the dangerous thing about this Princess of Chalices here at Taurus is that Princess of Chalices always have the tendency to be taking things like quite too personally, because of how exposed and vulnerable she is. So be careful with that energy, all right? There has to be a little bit of a moderations attached to it. So what is the challenge of this relationship? You have the Hermit card, and then you also have the Queen of Swords. I usually see the Hermit card as somebody who has the inability to look within, to admit mistakes, to own up to, yes, you know what, I fucked up in this area and I'm really sorry. The inability to look in within. But I think now, seeing that in the past they also have the Nine of Cups in reverse, I also see this as somebody who has the inability to be alone, you know, have a little bit of a codependent, not attaching to one person. I mean, this is too few Taurus out there. You might be dealing with somebody who has the inability to look within, or it could be that you're dealing with somebody who just cannot be alone. Like they always have to be attaching themselves to one person because they just could not fathom the fact that they're alone or feeling lonely. You know what I mean? They have to get attention from elsewhere. So you have two options there. And then you're also dealing with the Queen of Swords here. Queen of Swords is a very harsh energy. We're talking about emotionally shutting down. And I feel like in this part, it's coming from you. You know, you are in a phase where you're emotionally shutting down right now. You just want to see it from a distance. You just want to see everything from a distance right now. Like you're wanting to make this relationship grow, or you want to be manifesting this relationship to take off the ground in a way that you actually wanted it to be. But then subconsciously, unintentionally, I feel like you're kind of like quite pushing them away in here because you still have to be dealing with the hurt from the past that you're still trying to get over. And then subconsciously, you're kind of like quite pushing people away here with the Nine of Wands. So this is the Taurus that you're putting into the outside world. And this is the real you. You're afraid of getting this side of you exposed again, all vulnerable again. As you can see, it has a blue symbolism there in his shirt. So in the past, this person, again, as I said, this person is pretty codependent. Not the type of person who was emotionally healthy in the past. They were going through a lot. They weren't even feeling good about themselves, you know what I mean? And when people are not feeling good about themselves, they could either be depressed or they could go into an overindulging route. And I feel like these two routes, that the options that was available there, kind of like makes you aggravated in some ways, because you have the Knight of Swords in here. You felt like you want to be combative here. You felt like you want to attack them in some ways, because you want to be attackive in some ways. And I feel like in the past, you know, with the Moon card in reverse in here, you could be having a return from somebody who in the past was quite skeptical of you, or was having a major trust issues with you. And then suddenly in the past, there was like, oh, I think Taurus is meant well. I think Taurus, you know, what I was assuming inside of my head was not true. So they're coming out of a period where they thought that they were surrounded by lies or agenda. They were coming out of it. But I feel like you're being pretty combative in the past, because you have had it. You know what I mean? That this karmic loop that you're going on and on and on, kind of like makes you a little bit impatient. We have a Three of Pentacles in here as the mutual energy of both people in the past. The Three of Pentacles in this particular deck of mine is quite different than the one that we see in traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, because we don't see, because it's one person doing the work. So I feel like, you know, this person is doing certain type of thing that doesn't emotionally fulfills you, and then you were trying to do things in the past too that doesn't really emotionally fulfill them. So it was not what they need, but you think that it is the right thing, and that's exactly what they were doing too in the past. So it was not exactly what you need or what you wanted, but they feel like it was the right thing for them to be doing. So in the now though, they're going through like a lot of nostalgia phase. A lot, especially late at night. I think you guys do. Every time you are in a night and when you're in quiet mode, like you really want to manifest something happening in here. And they're, you know, because of your energy is very in sync. So when you think of them, or it's like when you're walking in a mall and then you're seeing somebody who looks or resembles like them, it's like kind of like the sign that they were thinking about you. Sometimes out of the sudden you can see their face in front of you, in front of your face, just like that, you know, like vividly in your mind. It means that they're thinking about them, and whenever you're thinking about them, the same thing happens to them too. So that energy, the bond, the connection was really strong, up to the point that you could have this crazy telepathic abilities too. So they're feeling pretty nostalgic right now. And right now, they're kind of like thinking of wanting to own up everything. You know what I mean? They have the Ten of Wands in here. So they're kind of like quite wanting to step up their games and wanting to make amends, basically, wanting to do something about this relationship. But I feel like because you're still dealing with, you know, healing process from what hurt you in the past, you're like, oh, I don't know, like I want this relationship to grow. I miss them. I try to manifest this from happening, but I'm done with it. You know what I mean? Like you went through a long phase of healing to be at the point where you are in the now, and it kind of like freaks you out to be returning, being exposed again. You know what I mean? Being vulnerable again once more, to be having expectations once more. So now you guys are having like a little bit of an inner conflict going on now. Let's see. Future. Saya mau tahu lima kartu masa depan. Temperance card in reverse. Princess of Pentacles. Knight of Wands. Empress card in reverse. I think you guys are you really don't want to be doing anything in regards to them. You don't want to be, because you have the Empress card. Empress card, we're talking about a Venusian quality, or the want to please people. You know what I mean? And it was always your nature to want to try to please them or to make them happy, to adjust your life or yourself to fit them in some ways. And that, even until up to in the future, you felt like you don't want to do it. Like, I don't want to be the assertive person right now. I don't want to be the active participant again. Like, I think it's my time right now to be receiving things. And receiving things is going to make them flip out a bit here, because they felt like you guys are kind of like quite playing games because you're not reciprocating to their effort. I mean, they're going to be stepping up. They're going to kind of like come forward with you with the 10 of Wands in here, and they're kind of like planning things in a much more solidified way, or in a much more tangible ways, in order to be getting this 10 of Pentacles. But I could see, you know, in the future, you guys are going to be having this 10 of Pentacles that you're craving and you're looking for from this person, if you're only dealing with one person. Okay, I'm going to get to the two people part in just a sec, but yeah, I mean, starting from the now though, so if it's not happening now, it's going to happen like really, really soon, up until the future, probably beginning in March, maximum mid-March. Like, they're going to be wanting to step up their games and wanting to plan things to solidify this relationship. They're going to come around as a Knight of Wands attitude. So Knight of Wands is the energy that wants to fix things. So when they see a problem, they want to fix it. And now I feel like, you know, with how the planetary movement going on, and especially we're going to have a Mercury retrograde really, really soon, it's like they kind of like want to do it with you. But this person is kind of like quite busy too. So if you felt like they're still coming out and coming in, coming out and coming in, it's because they have other things in their areas that they need to attend, you know. So that's, if you're dealing with two people, you're going to be having somebody who step up, and then maximum mid-March, you're going to have that 10 of Pentacles that you're craving for. Finally, you felt like your voice is being heard in here, and finally we have somebody here who is stepping up to be an active participant as well. One suggestions, if I may, if you're only dealing with one person, Taurus, is that when they're stepping up, like, I know, like, you don't want to be doing things, you know, you felt like, well, I kind of like deserve them to be treating me like a princess or like a queen now, or like a king now, because of what I did in the past for them, and they were not reciprocal to me. But it would be nice to at least say thank you, or at least show a little bit of appreciation, so that they felt validated, or they felt, you know, affirmed. You know what I mean? Only if you want, if you still want them though. So what happens if you're dealing with two people? So if you're dealing with two people, if you're only dealing with one person, your reading is done a few seconds ago. Now it only applies to people who has two people or two options in their life. So person A is somebody, again, who I said had a little bit of a problem with themselves. Okay, they were not being themselves around, and I feel like it kind of like triggers your anger a bit in the past with the Knight of Swords. You just wants to charge at them. You just wants to make them, like, demand them, kind of nag them, or you just want to get to the bottom of the truth because you felt like there's something here that is fishy. You just want to attack them in some ways, okay? And then you're trying to get over that person. You've been having somebody who has been admiring you from afar, which was person B, and person B, seeing this green light, they were stepping up here in the present moment. So they try as hard as they could to be consistent and persistent in their way of wanting you. But I feel like because you're still focusing so much on getting over the hurt caused by person B in the past, person A in the past, you're just kind of like entertaining them, but it's just like, yeah, not so, you know what I mean? Because you're still focusing so much on person A. Person A is somebody who you had that telepathic ability with, and I think it's going to be increasing, especially in this week or in this month. You know, that person is feeling really, really nostalgic. They're very, very missing you. They're officially missing you guys. And then you also, you know, you kind of like felt very, very telepathic towards them. In the future, like, this person is going to be the Temperance card in reverse, meaning that they're going to be losing their patience again. They're going to be quite imbalanced again. They're going to be falling into the same trap that they were dealing with in the past. And I feel like with this person, you felt like, you know what, I think I stop giving my attentions or my focus towards this person, and then I'm going to divert it into somebody who I see is much more of a safer choice for me. Although I don't really feel the connection as much as I do with person A, but I think you're going to give person B a try because you like the consistency, you like the persistency, you like how emotionally much more healthier they are compared to person A. So yeah, this person is going to be much more consistent, and I feel like you guys are going to give it a chance. So either way, if you're dealing with one person or two people, it's actually looking very, very good for you. Congratulations, Taurus. Okay? So I think that's it for my reading for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week for your March reading. I mean, this week, Friday. Bye-bye.